So I'm back for another episode of Out of the Box podcast. We have a new camera, which is a good improvement. I've got something exciting. I haven't actually officially announced it externally. It is announced internally, which is the reason why I got this camera. But I thought we've been in business now for this podcast for nearly a year, so it's probably time we upgraded. We did used to record the first few episodes on the iPhone, and then we moved to a camera, and now we're on this DJI like creator, something like live streamers use. But yeah, it's an improvement, and that's what we're all about as we're trying to get more and more into the lean culture. And so it's an appropriate place to start by showing you one of the improvements we've made. So I'm going to flip the camera, and you can see we have our weekly stand-up. So we don't do daily. A lot of people do daily, but there's not so many of us, and it's mainly office work. It's not like production line, so we feel like weekly's all right. We do it on Wednesday. But on top of this, we've added now doing the milk, coffee, toilet bowls, the bins. The bins were part of it for like the last couple of months. Updating the whiteboard, getting receipts, tea towels, washing them, that is, making sure the sink's all tidy, and then the bins again. So we have, for a while, like we had cleaners internally, and it was expensive. They came once a week and it just wasn't value for money. And then like we started reducing them. We got like one of those vacuum hoovers, like the robots, and it's all right. It doesn't do a great job, to be honest. So then we were like, we need to step it up. Like there's still stuff like milk, coffee was relying on certain people to get it. It just wasn't efficient because people would just wait and then ask, and it was hassle. So yeah, we've moved to this system, and I think there's probably way more upgrades that will come with it in time. Like we'll probably, because the lads were out, and this is something I'm going to talk on, we're out doing a lean tour of another office that was far cleaner than ours, and they have a few ideas which they want to take back. But yeah, I thought I'd share that. So this week, what I want to talk about is we've appointed a group of lean leaders. So that's people who are meant to be our internal advocates for lean. And if anyone doesn't know what lean is, it's basically just like continuous improvement, Japanese concept, and it's getting spread and made popular here by the Tierney brothers, and in particular Ryan Tierney. So they have a company called Lean Made Simple, and they do lean tours, and you can see it, and it's really cool for production line. I think there's maybe a couple of gaps, and to be fair, some people are addressing this around like office and AI, where we think we can really lean into it, no pun intended. So as part of this, we've appointed a group of lean leaders. It's 4 people, and I was just going to do 3, and myself. So who advocate for it internally, who will do book clubs or studies and report in every 2 weeks and do meetings and think, how else can we encourage lean culture? Not necessarily just make improvements, because part of lean is you want everybody to make improvements, but encourage lean culture from everyone. So we appointed those people, and as part of the book that Ryan has wrote, He Made Simple, the 12 Steps or whatever, is the official title of it. He talks about appointing that lean leader group, and his reckoning is you have to have the people who are most interested in it. So we did individual book clubs in every department, all focused on the same book, and I sat in every one of them and saw who was most passionate about lean. And everyone bought into it, to be fair, which is something to celebrate, but there were certain people who were just more interested than others. And so those people I appointed to be in this lean leaders group. And so it's slightly different because we do have a senior team group, and then we have a lean leaders group. And it's still a hierarchy, like don't get me wrong, there's a senior and then there'll be lean leaders. And it's slightly different like concepts, obviously, that everyone's focused on. But it's really exciting. And so a handful of those lean leaders and other people who are involved in our claw machines went out and did a lean tour yesterday. So that's our second lean tour we've done. It's the first that multiple people have been on though, and the energy they came away with was really exciting. Now, don't get me wrong, it wasn't that they were like, oh my God, we're so bad, because there was things we do exceptional that they thought that other business could improve on, but there was stuff we're bad at, namely the tidying, and maybe I'll point this out. Can you see down here, we have like dust and dirt and stuff like that, and that's purely because we have the cleaners coming every 2 weeks, and we have the robot, and there's no ownership of it over this area, so it does just get a bit messy. I think the energy coming out of that was class, and we haven't really set it as a goal. We're going to do our first meeting next week, But I think we'll probably set a couple of goals, and maybe one of them will be start doing our own lean tours, specifically focused maybe on AI and showing that off to people, because we already kind of have done that. We've had people come in and we've demonstrated what we've done in our business, and then they've took inspiration away from it for their own businesses. So it's kind of like unofficial tours, and we've got one coming up next Tuesday. I've got a friend who said to me, "You're so far ahead in like the e-commerce world." He owns an e-commerce business and he felt like he was slipping behind, so he said, "Can I come in and just watch what you guys are doing, the technology you guys are using?" So he's coming in next week, and that's kind of like another unofficial lean tour. So maybe, and this is something I wrote down in my notes last night when I was on my run, it came to maybe in Q4 we start doing lean tours, but don't hold me to that. So what else have we been working on? We had the IFA visiting, so the CEO and the Chief Operating Officer of the IFA came in to visit, and they really, really, really liked our claw machines. So I might just turn around and show you them. Well, they are out here in our warehouse. Can you see that? They're all wrapped up and ready to go. So we have numerous of them. I think it's about 6 that we are waiting on people to officially sign forms, and then they will go out. But IFA came in and they were lovely, Patrick and Graham. And the IFA get a hard time, and I think it's probably true for every National Football Association does, because I was speaking to Connor about, and he's a big Republic of Ireland fan, and he was saying like he gives grief to the senior team in there. And I would say if you're an English fan, it's probably the same for the FA. It's just people give grief to them. So I'm not envious of that job one bit, but they're lovely people, and I think doing a really good job as well. Like, football here has probably never been as good as it has been, and if they can deliver on the National Training Centre, which has been talked about for ages, that'd be class. But that's a bit of a side note. They came in and they showed so much support for the business. They were really, really interested, and it's pretty impressive because they're running essentially a charitable organisation, but it does 20 million a year in turnover. So many people are involved in it, so many stakeholders. So the fact that they took time, showed interest, they offered to try and get our machine into the National Stadium, Windsor Park, which will be really exciting. And then maybe we can do a couple of cool bits of content around that. Like, I don't want to jinx anything, but we're talking about different ideas that I think would really pop. It's kind of like a landmark moment, I think, as well. Like, just getting your machine in the National Stadium, and you never know. Like, we're hosting the conference for the draw of Euro 2028. There's like, maybe we could try and convince other nations and stuff like that when they're at the draw. So that would be really cool. It was a nice moment, and it came really organically. They said, and it's maybe part of their like aims and goals that they set as a charity, but they want to really help local businesses. So that's why they reached out and they said they would come down. Final thing I want to cover is, and I sent it into our ClickUp general chat this week, and it's the power of compounding knowledge with AI. So we, and I think I've alluded to this before, have the second brain, and something that's connected to Claude. So every time we finish a Claude session internally, it gets sent off to the second brain and it sits up here. And then all these different threads or sessions, as people call it, get tied together. So if you can see that I'm talking about TikTok Shop, Dermot starts talking about TikTok Shop, someone else starts talking about TikTok Shop, it all gets added together. And next time you pull a session, start talking about TikTok Shop, it has all this references. So we've been starting to do something else with this kind of like HQ brain, the second brain, and it's been uploading context. So as everyone knows, context is super important for AI, but we've been going through like podcasts and stuff like that, and like getting the transcripts, and then maybe trying to pull out the actionable items from it, from people who are best in class, and then putting it into the brain as well. So next time it knows what we're doing, and then it knows what could be potentially done, from industry leaders. But there was a really cool graphic or video, and hopefully we can get it edited into this. So if you're watching this, you'll be able to see it. But it's essentially the power of the compounding knowledge. And over time, you can see it. It goes from maybe 1 or 2 lights, which is 1 or 2 sessions, to hundreds. And I think we have now over 1,000 different sessions. And this is really with adoption. I still think there's a few people who probably need to adopt it more. but with adoption like growing and growing and growing. And we have now, I would say, power users, people who are really, really into it, and they find it really valuable. So it's exciting. And when I think what it will be in maybe a year's time, there could be over 1 million sessions in there with so much knowledge, which will be really, really powerful. And that just means, you know, making our job and anyone's job in Shirt in the Box much easier. Okay, that's me wrapping up for this episode. Appreciate everyone supporting, and I hope people like the new camera and mic setup, and it's gone smoothly enough. Thank you.